I didn't win the challenge. I didn't even come close to winning the challenge. I got maybe 8 trophies of 51. Mortal Kombat has a very complicated storyline spanning over 3 decades, and I'm gonna do my best to explain it and try not to sound like I have severe brain damage. My favorite Mortal Kombat game is Mortal Kombat Homecoming Warrior. Mortal Kombat was an arcade game published by Midway Games in 1992, created by John Tobias and Ed Boon. It was a fighting game truly like no other, feeling less so like a fun fight between friends like Street Fighter and more like a genuine fight to see who can inflict more harm to the other person. One of the main focal points of the game being the fatalities, which were never supposed to be found. They were purposefully put in as a joke from co-creator Ed Boon, making all of them very complicated button combinations, to which 5 minutes after the game initially launched in arcades, and a 12-year-old boy guessed the button combination to one of the fatalities. As Ed Boon watched in awe, he then picked up the kid and suplexed him into the arcade cabinet in his own fatality. That last part did not happen. And sure, the fatalities in the game are less violent than anything you'll see in a grade school bathroom during lunch period, but at the time, it was the most violent video game ever made. Parents were furious. And Senator Joe Lieberman issued a statement in Congress that if video games do not rate themselves for children or adults, the government would. And thus, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, or ESRB, and the M for Mature rating were born. Now that little bit of context is out of the way, let's get into the complicated and truly upsetting lore of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 1992 is about 3 realms: Earthrealm, Netherrealm, and Outworld. Outworld wants to take control of Earthrealm, but due to literal gods interfering, making the only way they can actually take control of Earthrealm being a tournament held every 50 years, no fighting in between the 50 years. And in order to win the control of the other realms, your realm's best fighters have to win 10 straight Mortal Kombat tournaments. Enter Shang Tsung, the big bad of the series for the most part. Shang Tsung was banished from Outworld to Earthrealm 500 years prior, and with the help of his second-in-command in the original trilogy, Goro, Shang Tsung is able to take complete control over the Mortal Kombat tournament, in an attempt to doom the realm. For 500 years straight, Goro has remained undefeated in the tournament. Goro has won for Earthrealm 9 consecutive times. He needed one more win in order for Emperor of Outworld Shao Kahn to take control of Earthrealm. In order to stop Goro from winning his 10th tournament, Master Raiden and other strong Earthrealm fighters such as Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Kano, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and our hero, Liu Kang, must compete. After a grueling competition, Liu Kang finally makes his way up the ladder of fights and is faced by Prince Goro, a 4-armed Shokan warrior, not to be confused with Emperor Shao Kahn. The Shokan are a species of half-dragon, half-human beasts. Most of the characters in Mortal Kombat were regular sprites made from photos of humans dressed as characters, but Goro, however, was a stop-motion puppet to set himself from the others. And I think it pays off. After a challenging and grueling fight, Liu Kang defeats Prince Goro and later on goes to face sorcerer Shang Tsung, to whom he defeats, saving Earthrealm from their doom. It cannot be explained the influence this first game had on fighting games and gaming as a whole. But we're just getting started, baby. Strap yourselves in. We got 11 more mainline games to get through. Mortal Kombat 2 was released in arcades in 1993, just less than a full year after the first game, expanding on the story and the world of the original game, introducing more finishers such as different fatalities, babalities, which turned the character into infants, and my personal favorite added finisher being friendship. My favorite being Liu Kang dancing as the disco ball falls from the sky, and it is the greatest thing to come to this world since Mad Catz controllers that are not plugged in. Mortal Kombat 2 also introduced new characters to the franchise such as Kung Lao, Reptile, who was in the first game but this time as he's a playable character not locked behind a convoluted way of unlocking a fight, Jax, Katana, Shang Tsung as a playable character this time, Melina, Baraka, and Sub-Zero, which I will get to that in a minute because it is a different Sub-Zero. And Noob Saibot, not yet as a playable character, Gintaro, Shao Kahn's bodyguard, non-playable as well, and Emperor Shao Kahn, also non-playable, and he won't be for a little while. But we'll get to that. Hold your horses, Brian, the story's only just begun, baby, calm down a bit. The story of Mortal Kombat 2 is, after failing to defeat Liu Kang in the previous tournament, Shang Tsung begs his master, Shao Kahn, supreme ruler of Outworld and the surrounding kingdoms, to spare his life. He tells Shao Kahn that if they hold the next tournament in Outworld, the Earthrealm fighters will have no choice but to travel to Outworld. and get out of their comfort zone and giving Shao Kahn the home field advantage. Shao Kahn agrees to this plan, and Shao Kahn restores Shang Tsung's youth and ability to fight. He then extends his invitation to Earthrealm's protector, Master Raiden, who gathers Earthrealmers warriors and takes them to Outworld. This game establishes that Sub-Zero, also known as Bi-Han, was killed by Scorpion in the last tournament. In this game, Sub-Zero is his younger brother, Kuai Liang. Joined the Mortal Kombat tournament to exact revenge on the undead ninja Scorpion. And Kuai Liang will remain our Sub-Zero for the remainder of this timeline. And you may be thinking to yourself, what do you mean this timeline? Well, buckle up, cowboy, because this one is a doozy. But we'll get to that. After a long and arduous tournament, Liu Kang eventually works his way up to Kintaro, who's this kind of Minotaur guy, and defeating him. And finally facing Emperor Shao Kahn, this game's final boss, and after a long, hard fight, Liu Kang eventually defeats the Emperor, gaining Earthrealm's second consecutive win, and oh my god, this video is already 6 minutes long. That's no good. We have 10 more games to get through. Oh no. Mortal Kombat 3 is not about a tournament. Instead, our heroes in Earthrealm are fighting against Shao Kahn, who has resurrected Kitana's mom and his wife Sindel, and started the invasion of Earthrealm. And you may be asking, Mr. Splumpy, I thought you said they weren't allowed to do that whole fighting thing before the tournament. To which I say, first of all, Brian, shut up. This is where you learn the games have set rules that they themselves do not follow and never will. And second of all, Mr. Splumpy was my father's name. You can call me Mr. Bader. Mortal Kombat 3 introduced characters such as Cyrax, Cabal, Stryker, Sector, Nightwolf, Sindel, Smoke, and Shiva, the first playable Shokan warrior. The game also introduced to the series animalities and combos. It was also the first and only game in the series to not include Mortal Kombat's poster character, Scorpion. He was later added to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, but it was weird that they didn't include him in the first place. That's like having an Amnesia video and not having the thumbnail to be the deformed creature. You know the one. Mortal Kombat 3's story. Shao Kahn, now weary of his continuous losses in Mortal Kombat, devises a 10,000-year plan. He has his Shadow Priest, led by Shang Tsung, revive his wife Sindel. However, she would not be revived in Outworld, but instead Earthrealm, allowing Shao Kahn to cross boundary lines to reclaim his bride. And as a result, all hell breaks loose, and Outworld slowly takes over Earthrealm. All Menard's locations close or something. Point is, it is bad. Billions of civilian souls are stolen, with a few being spared by Raiden. He tells them Shao Kahn must be stopped, but he cannot interfere due to his status. He has no power in Outworld, and Earthrealm partially being connected to Outworld, well, that means unfortunately Raiden has no power. Shao Kahn has released extermination squads to kill the remaining Earthrealm survivors. Also, Raiden's protection is only for the soul, not the body. So our heroes have to fight the extermination squads to survive and repel Shao Kahn. Our heroes finally defeating Shao Kahn with his defeat, restoring the lives of the humans whose souls got stolen. The game has multiple subplots that you can look up in your own time, Brian. Speed Round, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. It's the same shit, but they added a few more characters. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It's just a restoration of the original trilogy, adding a few characters and new stages to the first two games. Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. It happened. It exists. Every day you get reminded of its existence, we stray further from God. Mortal Kombat 4 released on the PlayStation and added a few characters, and it's at this point that I will only name characters that matter and are directly related to the story getting added. Because if I don't, when we get to Armageddon, I'll have to name every character in existence, and none of us want that. The plot. Thousands of years before the first game, Shinnok, one of the Elder Gods who control the 6 realms in Mortal Kombat universe, attempted to become the most powerful of them all. Master Raiden said, "Nah, fam," and fought Shinnok in a war that spanned a few hundred years. He was then defeated, sending him to Netherrealm, where he would remain for eternity. However, Shinnok, now in modern times, escaped Netherrealm with the help of sorcerer Quan Chi. Ooh, we getting close, boys. Y'all don't even know what's about to happen. Shit's gonna get crazy soon with my boy Quan Chi. Shinnok seeks vengeance on the Elder Gods who banished him. In his plan, he first conquers the realm of Edenia with the aid of traitor Tanya. While he prepares his attack on the Elder Gods, Master Raiden asks for help from our favorite bunch of Earthrealmers. Once again, even Kung Lao joins the fight, which, side note, Kung Lao faked his death in Mortal Kombat 3 to leave a life that would respect his ancestors. I didn't mention it then because it didn't matter, but it is a crucial plot point in MK4. Our sweet boy Liu Kang defeats Shinnok, and as a result, Raiden is granted full god status, so he retires from being the protector of Earthrealm. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance is the first Mortal Kombat I ever played, at the age of like 6, and looking back, it wasn't the best game. It had a Bo' Rai Cho who everyone hated, it had by far the worst conquest mode, and it was the first and only MK game not to include series regular Liu Kang. Because, Liu Kang is gonna go and meet God right quick, because Shang Tsung decided he wanted the Golden Child dead. But we'll get into that in a second. It's the first game in the series to not be co-designed by Mortal Kombat co-creator John Tobias, because he left Midway in 1999 to pursue other interests. This game also had a Game Boy Advance port, because why the hell not? At the end of Mortal Kombat 4, Quan Chi revealed to Scorpion that he was actually the one that murked Scorpion's family and not in Clan, not in fact Sub-Zero. It is revealed in the opening of Deadly Alliance that Quan Chi was able to escape Netherrealm by using an amulet he stole from Shinnok. Quan Chi then finds an ancient tomb in which he discovers the frozen and undefeatable army of the old ruler of Outworld, the Dragon King, and he finds out the army can be revived, so Quan Chi meets up with Shang Tsung, offering him an endless supply of souls in return for him transplanting souls into the undead army. And together they form the Deadly Alliance for the first time. I'll explain that in a bit. The two team up to kill Liu Kang, and he's like dead. He's not even playable.
Damn. Liu Kang. Yeah, he's dead.
But don't worry, his absence is made up for with the inclusion of the greatest character to ever grace Mortal Kombat, Mocap. And that's the last time I'll ever mention that character. And they also kill Shao Kahn, but it's not like actually Shao Kahn, it's like a clone or something. I don't know. Unable to interfere as an Elder God, Master Raiden gives up his position because he realized that if the Deadly Alliance were to be victorious, Earthrealm would be doomed. And after you finish arcade mode and conquest, for the first time, our heroes lose, and the Deadly Alliance becomes victorious. Fun, right? Mortal Kombat Deception was released in 2004, the year I was born, and one day I will die. Deception had new interesting additions to the Mortal Kombat story, like chess and different minigames. Ooh, cool. Also having interactive stages, meaning yes, this is the first Mortal Kombat game to include stages where you could throw different objects in the stage at your opponents. A feature that's still in the games to this day, not including the new one. The game was initially panned by audiences due to bad voice acting in the Conquest mode, but nowadays MK and bad voice acting go together like Jake the Dog and Finn the Human, Peanut Butter and Ladies, Big Red and Sex Havers, me in the ever-moving passage of time and existential hell of the inevitability of the ever-closer release of death taking me away from this mortal plane of existence. Sorry, what was I talking about? The game begins directly after the events of Deadly Alliance. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi were successful in their plan. Raiden's champions were killed during their tournament. It was the perfect distraction to defeat their enemies while they claimed souls for their army's resurrection. The Deadly Alliance turn on each other and fight for Shinnok's amulet, which grants its user control of the army. Quan Chi emerges victorious from the fight, but he has no time to celebrate due to the fact that the Dragon King Onaga was also resurrected. So Quan Chi and Shang Tsung and Raiden join forces to stop the old ruler of Outworld. And Raiden unleashes an explosive blast on the Dragon King in order to kill him. The blast, however, kills Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Raiden. The Dragon King is unscathed, and if I'm talking about deception, I do have to briefly touch on the conquest mode. A young man named Shujinku is deceived into spending his entire life collecting the Kamidogo for Onaga, who uses the guise of an emissary of the Elder Gods named Damashi. Onaga reveals his identity and intentions to Shujinku after he has gathered all the Kamidogo. Shujinku, led to believe he was working for the greater good, now deceived, decides to continue training to defeat Onaga, and he does it. The character made for Deception and Armageddon, who isn't present for any other games in the franchise, defeats the god that Raiden, Quan Chi, and Shang Tsung could not. Mortal Kombat Armageddon, released in 2006, is not only the final installment in the 3D trilogy, but it's also the final installment of this first timeline. And Armageddon is a very beefy story, and I don't have the time for all that in this video. This video is going to be long enough as it is, so I'll just give you a brief synopsis. Basically, Raiden responds, but he's wearing black clothing instead of white, and like all his friends are dead. And throughout the Mortal Kombat universe, the warriors were growing too strong and numerous for the realms to handle. The warriors' powers threatened to utterly destroy the fabric of the universe. Every warrior that was either good, evil, or neutral fought each other in the single battle royale that would threaten to rip apart reality. Without warning, a pyramid rises from the ground and the tip bursts into flames, attracting the warriors' curiosity to see what it was. Everybody fought each other to get to the top, while Blaze revealed himself to the combatants. Blaze is essentially like an unkillable threat, a big guy that these little guys can't defeat. The Fire Spawn was created by the Elder Gods to basically end the world and stuff, but then Shao Kahn enters the mix, because remember, he's not dead, and he basically one-taps Blaze immediately. And he becomes really powerful, and now he wants to end the world. So Raiden tries to defeat Shao Kahn. He can't even almost beat him. Shao Kahn can't be touched, and so Raiden sees that Shao Kahn will end the world, so he sends a message back in time to his younger self during the invasion of Earthrealm. And basically the message is really cryptic and unspecific, just saying he must win. Erasing everything I just mentioned, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here it comes, the first reboot of the franchise. Side note, the reboots are not reboots and are canon in the Mortal Kombat universe. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, and that's the last I'll say on the subject. Mortal Kombat 9, also named Mortal Kombat because of course it is, begins with Raiden getting his message from himself of he must win. And he doesn't know what that means. A few things happen differently this timeline, like for instance Johnny Cage is alive and great, and Sub-Zero is turned into a cyborg like Cyrax and Sector, and it's bad, and he sucks. Basically Raiden doesn't understand what past him possibly could have meant by he must win. So initially he thinks, oh, Liu Kang must win. And he does, he wins Mortal Kombat, but Raiden's little amulet continues to crack a punch. And Raiden doesn't understand. And basically the events of Armageddon begin to happen again, but without Blaze. And all of Raiden's friends die again. And then his visions are replaying in his mind, and he thinks that he meant Shao Kahn must win, because he thinks Shao Kahn will attempt to merge the realms without winning Mortal Kombat 10 times. And the Elder Gods will step in to stop this madness. And Liu Kang is like, no, you're dumb. And so for the second time, Liu Kang is gonna go meet God right quick. And then Raiden goes to fight Shao Kahn, and he throws the fight on purpose. And Raiden's thought process was right. However, his friends are all still dead, so none of it mattered anyway. Mortal Kombat X. Basically, y'all remember Shinnok? Well, guess what, fuckers? He's back, and he wants to basically overthrow Earthrealm and Netherrealm. And basically, he has this master plan to raise an undead army to destroy the remaining heroes. And so Shinnok meets up with Quan Chi to create their undead army together, and they resurrect all of Raiden's dead friends as a part of their army. And Raiden gathers all his remaining allies, which is pretty much just Kenshi and a couple others at this point. And essentially they attempt to destroy the undead army and destroy Shinnok. And just like always, Raiden defeats Shinnok and traps him in a little amulet. And then 10 years pass, and things are great until Shinnok breaks free from the amulet and Raiden fights him. And then Raiden wears black clothes again. And essentially now there's evil versions of the characters. Liu Kang and Kitana are ruling over Netherrealm, and Raiden like decapitates Shinnok and leaves his head alone as like a warning. And he tells Liu Kang and Kitana that they will face fates worse than death, and then he departs again. And now time for Mortal Kombat 11. Following Shinnok's defeat, Dark Raiden plans to protect Earthrealm by defeating all of its enemies. In that Shinnok decapitation thing really pisses off Kronika. She's like a titan. I haven't really mentioned the titans yet. They're like gods, but whoa, crazy. And basically, Kronika is the keeper of time and also Shinnok's mommy. And she's real mad at Raiden and his interference, so she erases him from history and forms an alliance with evil Liu Kang and Kitana. And then Kotal Khan, current leader of Outworld, is trying to assassinate Shao Kahn's loyalist, but like he's interrupted by a time storm. I don't really know. I lost interest in this game like a quarter way through. And then Liu Kang and Raiden, but these are like the good versions, not erased from time or something.
Don't know, don't care.
Basically, they show up to the Special Forces HQ where they like meet up with Kronika's right-hand man, Garrus, and fight him, but he's like escapes. In Sector has started the Cyber Lin Kuei stuff again, but Sub-Zero shuts down the factory. So both Kanos, Garrus and Aaron Black, escape to Kronika's keep, where they revive Sector, who's like super dead, and revive the cybernetics program. And Raiden asks for help from the Elder Gods, but their power is draining, so they're like, nah, fam. And a bunch of fighting happens, and good Liu Kang merges himself with evil Liu Kang and Raiden and becomes a Titan, and he defeats Kronika so he can keep the time, and he resets the timeline for the second time, and he's the fire lightning god Liu Kang, and it's all fucked up. Mortal Kombat 1, also known as Mortal Kombat, being the third entry just titled Mortal Kombat. If you don't want to get spoiled, turn back now. This is your last chance to stop watching this video, because I will be spoiling the ever-living shit out of this game. Basically, Liu Kang has completely rewritten history. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are brothers in this one, which is weird, and Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are supposed to be nothings, and we get to see Kenshi lose his eyes, but there's no chance in all of hell that I'm going to be showing that on YouTube. This video will get age restricted so fast. She goes crazy and stabs Kenshi's eyes. Basically, the game begins with Kung Lao and Raiden fighting in a friendly little bout. Neither of them have powers anymore, and they spar, and Raiden loses, and then Sub-Zero and Scorpion show up and try to kill them, but Kung Lao and Raiden wreck their shit, and essentially it was all a test from Liu Kang to see if they were worthy of competing in Mortal Kombat. Guess what? They were. And then the same thing happens with Johnny Cage and Kenshi, but Kenshi just wants his ancestor's sword, which Johnny bought, I guess, and guess what? It turns out they're all worthy. High fives all around. And then Liu Kang trains them as monks and then brings them to Outworld to compete in Mortal Kombat. And Raiden wins, and all is good, and Jade does not exist in this game. It's Kitana and Mileena being sisters, and Sindel is not married to Shao Kahn, and she's a fair ruler. With Shao Kahn being her general, along with Raiko, he's a guy from, I think, Armageddon. He's pretty cool, and then Liu Kang brings everyone back to Earthrealm, but Garrus, he's a good guy now, informs Liu Kang that Shang Tsung has power in the Empire, and he's like, this shouldn't happen. And so he sends Kung Lao, Kenshi, and Johnny Cage to Outworld to capture Shang Tsung to question him. And they find out he's stealing bone marrow from Baraka and trying to inject it into Mileena to give her Baraka's disease. But actually, oops, he was creating serum to stop her morphing. She goes crazy and stabs Kenshi's eyes, and they're like arrested by Sindel's army, but they escape. I don't remember. I played this game like 3 days ago. That's a long time to expect me to just remember shit. And then they find this chick named Ashra, who's like an angel, I think, and they fight her because she thinks they're working for Quan Chi, and then Reptile is also there, and he's really hot, and they essentially find Quan Chi in the forest doing some evil stuff, and they fight him, and he's creating an undead army, but his only soldier so far is Ermac, who is a character that's existed forever, but this is the first time he's actually mattered. And then they beat him and destroy Quan Chi's evil soul stealer, and one of the souls sucks the pigmentation out of Quan Chi, giving him that Ghost of Sparta look, and it's revealed that Quan Chi and Shang Tsung are working together, because guess what? They're getting the band back together and playing their greatest hits. And there's all this wishy-washy stuff where like Liu Kang finds out someone interfered with his perfect timeline, but the person is hidden by the hourglass, which should be impossible. And oh god, it's finally revealed that Sindel and stuff, that Shang Tsung is a bad guy, much like Pac-Man is a bad guy, and Ermac is revived by Mileena, and it turns out he's her father and Sindel's husband who died, and they all try to stop the Deadly Alliance from raising their army of the undead. And then it's revealed that Shang Tsung was the one who interfered with Liu Kang's design, because when they fought in 11, two things happened, creating multiple timelines, and he double crosses himself and raises the army, and then Liu Kang teams up with the Deadly Alliance to stop the Deadly Alliance from ending the world, and oh my god, it's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. And Shang Tsung brings in his army, but it's different characters from the multiverse, and Evil Raiden is back, and Sindel kills Sindel, and Ermac absorbs her soul to keep it safe, and Melina is now the Empress, and she also learned control of her illness, and Liu Kang becomes a Titan again to defeat Shang Tsung, and they all travel back to Earthrealm where Shang Tsung is trying to destroy the Hourglass, but they stop him, and Shang Tsung escapes, and Liu Kang essentially raises his own army of all the good guys from the multiverse to beat Shang Tsung's army. So you beat all the different variations of characters, and they're all randomized fucking Scorp Lao. And eventually you get to the top of their Armageddon pyramid, and Shang Tsung kills Shang Tsung, and you fight Shang Tsung, who just defeated Liu Kang, and you win. His high fives all around in a roll credits, but there's a post-credit scene where Johnny Cage is inviting all his friends to cameo in his new movie Mortal Kombat, and they all say no, and roll credits. I love Mortal Kombat, but going through the complete timeline drove me insane. Comment in the comments down below if you don't think it was worth it. If you liked the video, consider hitting the subscribe button. It would really help a lot, and if you made it to the end of this video, that was way longer than I anticipated, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Next week I'll have a video that will possibly be longer or shorter, I do not know. It will be the first of my Halloween videos this month, where I'll be talking about random nostalgic Halloween themed stuff, because I love Halloween. So stay tuned for that. I also had a lot of auditory issues in this video, so I had to go back and re-record the audio, so that's why it uploaded so late. But I mean, not like I have any fans that care or anything, so why am I even saying this?